everyone is from. Go ahead and drop it down in the chat box. Let's see. Hillary's from Las Vegas. Yes. All right. We're going to add a pin here. All right. Amazing. Danielle's from New York. Yay, a Tulsa woman. As we celebrate entrepreneurial journeys. Cool. I'm super excited to get going with this group. Wrong group. Oh, goodness. All right. We are streaming to Facebook. Fabulous. All right. Should be some more people coming in. We had a ton of registrations. So, let's see. Awesome. Well, I am super excited. What I am going to, oh, here's Kuma. Yay, our final speaker. Awesome. So many amazing humans here on this call. This is the first time some of our speakers are also meeting each other. So look at this crew. I feel like the Brady Bunch, y'all. Like literally, look at us. This is a good looking crew. Amazing. So for those of you that are joining us, like Ginger kicked us off, please feel free and add where you are joining in the comments. I just want to make sure that we are in the right 8456692. Yep. Okay. Awesome. All right. Cool. Well, let's go around quickly, each of the speakers, and just do a quick, brief little introduction, and then we'll dive into the content that I have for all of us today. Ginger, why don't you kick us off? Tell us who you are and what your vibe is, what you're all about, and then we'll jump to, why don't you then tag someone else to go from there?
All right, great. Carissa, you're going to be on deck. Ginger here, coming to you from Missoula, Montana. Just flew through Denver this afternoon. Forget who's from. Katie, is that you? Yep. All right. I am a professional speaker, workshop deliverer, Kermit best friend, and Bri has thoughtfully brought me along for speaker support. So in addition to taking the keynotes, I also work with events to ensure that the speakers build their own confidence, know where they go, like the whole ecosystem, because as a professional speaker, I understand 99% of us never get this kind of support. So I'm super, to use one of Bri's words, I'm super fucking stoked to get to be part of the summit. So that's me. So Carissa, you're up. I hope I'm saying your name right.
You are. Thank you so much, Ginger. And I am also super fucking stoked for this conference. Cannot wait for us to be live with each other. I am in Tulsa, Oklahoma now. I've been a nomad over the last 3 years. So I've lived in a lot of these places that you all are chiming in from. So happy to see you. I am a professional speaker also. My life has been the world of marketing and business development. So I've been speaking a lot on that subject, more than I ever want to speak about that subject again, to be honest. And now I'm starting to speak from my own soul. I'll be bringing that conversation to the conference, speaking about the soul, speaking about the soul's journey to success. And I can't wait to have this opportunity to join you with that presentation. See you all there. And I am going to tap Danielle.
I had a feeling. I had a feeling, Carissa. Hi, I'm Danielle. I am from New York. I actually just moved out of the city about 6 months ago. So I'm actually in a little small farm town. Outside of it, I am an EFT practitioner and a breathwork teacher. So I am going to be doing a speech on cultivating your inner wealth, really focusing on how to really make your internal landscape, be able to to help you in succeeding with what you want to do. And I'm really excited to get to share a tool that I love with it, EFT. And I just can't wait to be there with all of you guys and help you move through to cultivate your inner wealth. And I need to pick somebody. Okay, who hasn't gone? Marie. Marie, I don't think that you have gone yet. And
I have not. No, thank
pass it
you.
over. You're
Yay. Marie Mack here. I am in the mountains of North Carolina. I can get a little twangy, so when we talk later in Tulsa, just don't mind me. I'm okay. So I am super fucking stoked as well. I am excited because I am a business strategist with an expertise in partnerships. So I absolutely love the connections that we get with each other and how our businesses grow because of it. So Bri asked me to come in and teach a little bit about how I can make that happen inside of your business. I am a very tactile person, so we are going to walk away with some amazing tips and tools. And Bri allowed me to bring a challenge to the whole thing. So when y'all get there, I'm going to do that. So very excited. I'm going to tap Annie next because I love your glasses, my friend.
Thank you. I'm amazed you can see them. It's so sunny in Chicago today, which is so shocking. I look like Casper, like you can't even see me. So at least the glasses are here. Excuse me. I'm not super fucking stoked. I'm just regular levels of fucking stoked. Like, I'm not even going to fake it. It's the end of the day. No, just kidding. I am super fucking stoked. I am Annie P. Ruggles. I am the founder of the Non-Sleazy Sales Academy and the brand new parent company, Corkworks Consulting, which literally launched like yesterday. But we thank you. But we can't activate wealth if we don't sell. And my whole thing is helping women and non-binary folk and high feminine energy men out of the trap of sales avoidance, which tells us that we have to deliver endlessly before we even consider receiving. And when it comes time to receive, we have to be gross. So that's what I am bringing. I am the end of day 2. So we're going to talk about activating wealth in the morning. We're going to set our wealth plan with Bri. We're going to have a great day. We're going to tap. We're going to do all kinds of stuff. And at the end of it, I'm going to teach them some sales language. So that is me. I am delighted to see all of you. And I'm going to tap in Katie.
I knew it was going to be me. I knew it. I'm really
You're
excited.
right
I was
underneath
like,
me, and
it's
I
going
just
to
wanted
be.
this. I wanted to like get some sleeve action in there. Be like, it's Katie.
Well, hi, everyone. My name is Katie Brinkley, and I am a social media strategist, but you're going to learn something different from my session. I'm going to be telling you to post less on social media so that you can get more business. And it's all through my 4-step posting strategy. I know as business owners, we're always trying to get more reach, more awareness, do all the things. And social media can get super duper overwhelming. But when you have a strategy in place, you are going to feel super confident and you're going to be getting the right message out to the right people. And you can focus in on doing what you're most passionate about, which most often is not posting on social media. So really excited to be a part of this and be around so many amazing other business owners. Thank you again, Bri, for the opportunity. Oh, who else do I choose?
Hillary or Kuma? Let's go with Kuma.
Okay.
Hi, my name's Kuma Roberts. I am the Chief Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Officer here at a firm in Tulsa, Oklahoma called Arrowhead Consulting. I am just so excited about this conference, and my presentation is based on Shirley Chisholm's comment of if they don't give you a seat at the table, you better bring your folding chair. So mine is all about bring your folding chair, ladies. It's all about how to influence, how to gain more influence and visibility for women in the workplace, as well as just sort of the state of women in America, where we stand, what the stats and statistics are. And it's really an empowering presentation about how we can lift as we climb, work together, find sponsors versus mentors, and really just dig into being what we are, which is badass, super fucking stoked women. So I'm really excited to be here. Thank you so much. And with that, the last person is Hillary. Hillary, is it you?
Thank you. Thanks, Kuma.
Hi guys, I'm Hillary Billings. I am the co-founder and CEO of Attentioneers. We are engineers of attention. I help personal brands, entrepreneurs, and companies, business owners to grow their reach and their revenue through short form content strategies. So we're talking Instagram Reels, Facebook Reels, TikToks, YouTube Shorts, what have you within that space. We've garnered over 1 billion organic views ourselves, built an aggregate following over 1 million followers. And now we help our clients to do the same, leveraging the psychology of attention. So that is what my talk will be about, is how to leverage and gain the attention both on and offline, utilizing our system and proprietary process to do so. So to piggyback on what Katie is saying, so that you don't have to post as often, so we can have that quality content that's actually converting to leads, it's actually converting to brand affinity and relationships, so much more than awareness, especially in a day and age where 20 million videos are being posted to the internet every single day, and we have to stand out among that market. 80% of the time that clients are on their phones, they're watching short form video. So we help you to maximize where their eyeballs are and how to get them for yourself.
So good. What I love about all of you is just the immense variety that we have in everyone's talks, right? We have the soul, we have the tapping, we have the strategy, the partnerships, the social media, the sales, the, taking up space at the table. Like it is, we just form such a comprehensive, like the lineup, like Annie Ruggles said, is fire. So loving all of this. All right. So today is all about celebrating our entrepreneurial journeys, because I'm going to be fully transparent with y'all. I am in it today. I am in the entrepreneurial journey. I have probably cried at least 7 times today, and I'm not even like shitting you. So if you see the puffy eyes, it's literally because up until 3 minutes before this started, I was in tears crying on Jordan's lovely Minnesota hockey shirt because they're playing today. So I want to talk about the entrepreneurial journey a little bit, because we're going to celebrate, we're going to do all these things, but also all of us have been in it. We've all had days where we're in it. And the bigger our visions expand, the more that we are in it, right? Like we're bumping up against some big stuff. So I want to talk to each of the, not necessarily all of you. If you don't feel inspired to chime in, by all means, don't. But first of all, for everyone watching, would love for you guys to drop in the chat your experience with this. And then I want to hear from some of the speakers. We will get to the celebration, but on the days when you feel like you maybe don't have much to celebrate and you're in it, what do you turn to? Like, what's your go-to for the days when you're in it? And I will kick off quickly, and then, the speakers can chime in as well. I actually felt really lucky today knowing that I had this scheduled. And the one thing that I go to when I am having a rough day as an entrepreneur is my community, and it is my people. And I will say, like, Katie Brinkley even gave me a pep talk this morning because we recorded her podcast. Danielle's given me pep talks. Annie's given me pep talks. Kuma's given me pep talks. Marie's given me pep talks. Like these, like surrounding myself with other positive, powerful women to remind me who the fuck I am and what the fuck I'm here for is like my go-to on the hard days. So, Marie, why don't you chime in quick about your experience with this?
Yeah, absolutely. So we're all in this journey pretty much all the time. So I think it's important. For me, it's about the abundance that I have. When I'm like, holy crap, like there's no way I'm going to do this. I have to tell like a super quick short story because it's so funny. I was out and I was talking to my daughter. I homeschool my kids full time. So I'm able to like step away, go see them, just connect a little bit. And I was like, I got to do this. I got to do this. I got to get laundry. I got to do the things. And she turns to me and she's like, do you need a hug? And I was like, yes. And she's 10. And I was like, you know what? That's right. Stop, get a hug, to look at some abundance that I have in my life, like all of the beautiful things, and then go back at it because I got a big message to share. And I just think the abundance part of it is just beautiful. So that's what I go to. And hopefully you guys can find that same kind of just space in your world too.
Love it. Carissa.
I go to a big ass bottle of wine. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
I know you don't drink.
I'm very serious because that used to be my strategy. And whether it was wine, martinis, beer, whatever it was, when I felt stressed, overwhelmed, not successful, not feeling myself, I turned to alcohol. And it is so easy in our culture to turn to that, right? Just go have some drinks with the girls and get over yourself for a moment. And it had become such a bad habit for me. And I noticed in the habit of it how much it was taking away from me. It wasn't just taking away stress, it was actually adding more of that. And so I bring it up because I know it's not a positive strategy, but I guess it is, in the sense of I would recommend that if that is your strategy, to really look to something else that could give you an alternative to that, because it's so diminishing. It's so it dims your light. And an occasional drink here or there, whoo, yeah, okay, cool. But if it's what we turn to end the suffering, quiet the negative voices, to even just deal with our stress on a regular basis, then, you know, I encourage you to look to some other ways.
Love it. Love it. Thank you. Just a reminder, anyone that's tuned in, you guys can definitely drop your thoughts about any and all of this as well. Like, tell us, what do you guys turn to? Who do you call? All of that stuff. We want to hear from you guys too. Cool. Katie, I think you were next.
Cool. So I definitely had my own share of, and Bri, you and I talked about this earlier today, but my own share of entrepreneurial breakdowns when I was hosting my event. And I think that a lot of times as business owners, as entrepreneurs, nobody wants us to succeed as much as we do. And so we hold ourselves to this, sometimes to this impossible standard. And it wasn't until I was in the midst of probably going through my own mental breakdown that I had a friend, and they said to me, "Do you meditate?" And I was like, I don't have time for that. I mean, there's just not enough time to do all the things. I can't journal. I can't do anything. I don't have time. And they said, well, it really isn't that much time. And if you can't give yourself just even 10 minutes, you have a serious problem. And so I block out 10 minutes of every day to do a 10-minute meditation. And it's only 10 minutes. And it helps me so much with just recentering myself for the day, because I will find myself like, okay, I have to go to the bathroom, but really I need to just finish this email. And oh, another email came in, but oh my God, now it's been an hour. I really have to, so like, it gives me that time to be like, let's just pause, reflect. And I come back with such more clarity and grace for where I'm at with things. So I think that if you're not incorporating some form of self-care into your day, whether it's first thing in the morning, at night, or for me, it has to be in the middle of the day, because otherwise I will get so caught up with things. Find a spot to put it into your day to prioritize you.
Love that. Yeah, as Katie and I were talking this morning, I was like, yeah, and to add everything like fuel to the fire, I'm literally going on a 7-day meditation retreat in the middle of all of this, and like totally walking away from planning this event for 7 days, and like, how is it going to come together? And Katie said to me, that's probably exactly what you need to do right now. So I love that tip. Danielle?
I forgot I had to unmute. Sorry. First off, all these responses are really great and really helpful. And I think for me, I know that like one tool that I always use is tapping, and I'm not going to go fully into that because I know that's like the clear answer. I'm going to say something else, but for me, it's just something that really allows me to help ground myself, help calm my nervous system, especially in those times where you're getting flustered, you're getting overwhelmed. It's really just a tool that you can internally use to help combat what's happening. But outside of that, I think what's really important is for us also as entrepreneurs, as business owners, we're always go, go, go. We need to work. We need to work. We need to work. And I found that if you incorporate a little bit of joy, a little bit of play, something that lets you embrace your inner child and just not have to deal with the workload and the heaviness that we have to as entrepreneurs, it allows you to be better at it when you're in it, taking yourself away, enjoying, even if it's going for a walk, playing with your dog, doing something kid like playing catch, just something that allows you a little bit of joy in your life. You deserve joy for the amount of work you're putting in, and incorporating a little bit into it can like offset the overwhelm that comes with what we're constantly doing.
Love it. Love it. Kuma, give us
Hey,
your wisdom.
well, I don't know about wisdom, but as we're talking about, I started reading this book called Stop Overthinking by Nick Trenton. Not sure if anyone is reading it or listening to it, but that was a fantastic book. And what I realized is that I need to get to a place of no mind. I think meditation for me feels like I have to be like in an alm state and like, in a peaceful place. And that never happens. I have a 5-year-old son. So let's be real. I'm a geriatric mom. What does get me to that state of no mind are 2 or 3 things. Number one, my hot tub. Anytime I'm in my hot tub, it's like a peaceful place. But the way I can get there when I'm not in my hot tub is I love to do dot to dots and coloring mandalas, things that take me from thinking to really just focusing on what's in front of me. And I have found that state of no mind that I look up and it's 2 hours later and it's me and my son just drawing, or time is, when I get to that place, I know that I'm in the zone and I'm regrounded and I'm recentered. So I've tried tapping, I've tried Wim Hof and breathing, but I think, all of those things are fantastic. But for me, it's like kind of just like coloring, and that takes me to a state of no mind. And that's when I know I'm like, okay, I'm thinking more clearly. I'm back to myself.
Love it. Awesome. So one thing we're going to be diving into day one of, for anyone that's just joining us, this is a preview event for a 3-day event that is happening in May called Success Becomes Me. And the way that Success Becomes Me is structured and the way it was specifically designed was on day one to help you really activate and expand the vision that you have. So what else is available out there? What is asking you to be born through you? And then day 2 is going to be all about expanding and gathering the resources you need to bring that activated vision into the real world. And day 3 is all about action and having the strength and resiliency to keep moving forward. So I want to know from you guys, again, welcome to, I saw some people drop some things in the chat, keep chatting with us. But I want to know from some of the panelists, how do you get your visions, or how do you know kind of what that next step is for you in your journey? And then I know all of you, we all have very big visions, which I feel like is one of the things that I'm struggling with today. Is I keep going to Jordan being like, why do I have to have such a big vision? Why can't I just be happy, like having a beer at the end of the day? And I can't drink beer, I'm allergic to it, and watching Netflix, like why? But all of us here have very big visions. We have very big callings that we were called to bring forth. So how do you tap into that? And then how do you also hold space for the bigness of your vision? Go for it, Miss Ginger.
Holy smoking, whatever. The first thing I do is I am rock solid with who I am. I'm 54. I have done lots of different things. I've had my own businesses for 20 years, and I am having a blast being 1,000% me. So for your question, Bri, it's the vision is huge. And like, to me, that's the only kind of vision to have. And it's everybody's own choice. Cool. My vision is huge. My personal zone is human connection. My personal vision is to connect the world. I do that one conversation at a time, sitting next to somebody riding home in the plane today, smiling at somebody on the street, whatever that is. I am unapologetic about it, which Bri, I know, is another signature way of thinking, not just a word. And so I have learned to detach from the relationships that don't feed me. And sometimes they're even family. that's been one of the gifts of COVID to me, to get really clear on who people are. There's a difference between choice and judgment. So my vision is huge. I make sure that I cultivate and find and also mutually foster other people who can, who also share big visions and who also can support me with mine. I have a really loud laugh. I'm living. Like, I don't know any other way, because this is the way that works for me. So that's, I mean, this is a whole dissertation, right, for all of us, but my vision is huge, very much on purpose. That's the only way I want it. And it continues to morph and change. And I think all of us here know too, to find people who we work with, coaches and otherwise, who help us in particular zone. Like one of my coaches says, Ginger, do you want to be a Pilsner glass or do you want to be a casserole? I'm like, Blair, I want the Pilsner glass. So I can go on and on. I'm coming up later anyway, but I'm going to pass the torch because I know that Katie is up next.
You touched on what I was going to say here, Ginger, too, is finding the opportunity to surround yourself with others that know what your vision is. Because it can be so hard when things are hard, like when things are feeling like it's super overwhelming, like you're saying, Bri, like, why do I have to have these big visions? But if you have those people in your world that you can lean on and say like, look, I'm spiraling right now. I just need someone to listen. And when you have other people that get it, and it's not that, I mean, I have a very supportive husband. My best friend lives across the street from me. As adults, I feel like that doesn't happen. And they don't get it though. And as much as I would love to be able to be like, I'm just struggling with work right now, they still don't get it. And if you can find, like, one of my closest friends, I've never met in real life, but I know when my business gets hard or I'm just frustrated with things and I feel overwhelmed, she gets it. So find those people in your world that, you know, can listen and help support you, because we are all better when we work together.
Love that. Thank you. Carissa, were you next? Or Annie, one of you. Oh, wait, Carissa, hold on,
See, it's a good thing I speak with my hands. You could tell that I was going already. Yes to all of that. Everything that Ginger and sorry, who was it?
Katie.
Katie, thank you. I lost you in my Brady Bunch view here for a moment. Yes to all of those things, and I would say to add to it, to not to be gentle on ourselves around that vision shifting. And that could be something that is a big picture business vision or just a vision of your life. Marie, I'm also a homeschooling parent, mom. It's actually my husband, but we as a family are a homeschooling family. And you know that when you do something like that, you get a lot of questions. People are like, oh, is he gonna be homeschooling in high school? I'm like, I don't know, he's 11. I'm not sure. It's what we're doing now. And I tend to have that answer for a lot of things. It's what I'm doing now. This is where I am now. And when we give ourselves that grace to be in the now, we get to, yes, have a big vision of what we want to conceive of, achieve, and create. But we also get to feel into the juiciness of what it's delivering to you right now. And so that the later, when it changes, because it inevitably will change down the road, you're not like beating yourself up and going, I wanted that to be this thing, because you're just in that now moment and going, oh, I guess it's this now.
Love it. Thank you. Annie?
So I used to have this really huge issue with vision because I'm a strategist. And so immediately when I would start to think big, I don't know if the other strategists in the room could relate to this. I would be like, I have this incredible idea. Okay, well, hold on. First, I would have to buy the domain. Is the domain available? Wait a minute. That domain's not even good. Hold on. It's already taken on Instagram, so I guess we can't do it. Okay, what? Okay, well, let me go check my email, right? Like I would strategize my way out of vision. And I did that for a really long time. So heads up, my fellow strategists who do this occupationally, it's our job to put legs under things. That doesn't mean we need to always know how we're going to get our vision. That is a trap that I live in every day. So before I tell you how I've fixed a different problem, I just want to own, in the style of wonderful Carissa, who started us off so vulnerably, I'm not very good at vision. I have a big one. I'm not awesome at refining it all the time. But back a billion careers ago, when I was the director of marketing and sales for a software firm, I learned a really valuable lesson about vision and about feedback, because we would be building these $200,000 apps based on this one really important feature, maybe these other things. And then people would be so proud of these apps. They'd be so freaking proud of them. And then they would go and they would talk to their mentor, and their mentor would be like, this is incredible. Yes, I love it. They would go and talk to like a lender, and the lender would be like, I love it. This is going to revolutionize the market. And then they go to their like piece of shit cousin who knows nothing about anything in the industry. And he's like, who needs this? Nobody needs this. And then they come back to the team. Whose feedback did they take? The mentor, the investor, or the cousin? Right? And so I'm hearing everybody, and I am a people person. I am so freaking spongy. I just want to snuggle everybody all the time. However, what I did when I opened my doors way, way, way wide is I started taking everybody's opinions as law. So for me, with my vision, I've had to get really clear in myself, because I can't control what people come to me with. I can only control what I ask for and what I'm willing to receive in the moment. So I've had to get really clear on when I'm looking to brainstorm with someone, when I'm looking for actual feedback, including critical feedback from someone, and when I just want someone to tell me I'm pretty. I've really had to figure out what to ask for, because then I'm not trying to take everything, and who I'm asking and why. Because then if I do just want somebody to tell me I'm pretty, then I'll go hang out with my cousin who thinks everything I do is cool but doesn't understand it. That's what I'll go to him for, right? But if I need to brainstorm, I'm not going to him. So on my path to learning more and more about vision, but as I'm in the midst of this huge rebrand and brand evolution in myself, it's been really interesting to remind myself, not all opinions are feedback. Not all feedback is law. And at the end of the day, you got to check in and make the decision that's in touch with your why. So, yeah.
Thank you. And last but not least for this question, Miss Hillary.
I want to go back to what Carissa was saying, because I think there's so much power, especially as entrepreneurs, to understand that there are so many iterations of our career identities, and that none of those really make up who we are as a person anyway. Within my own timeline thus far in my 34 years, I went from being the #1 graduate of my university to a graduate school reject, to an international travel blogger, to a USA Today journalist, to a burn survivor, to Miss Nevada, to a content creator, to an agency owner and a brand strategist. And if you would ask me when I graduated college what my 5-year vision was, none of these things would have been on that timeline or table. TikTok didn't even exist when I graduated college. So all that to say, I think that the idea of vision that we typically have is we're going to make this big success happen, we're going to do the thing, and then suddenly our life just works out and everything is gravy from then on out. And that's really not how it works. We're constantly iterating, everything's constantly changing. So giving ourselves permission to have a vision, but hold it kind of loosely, and allowing our skills and everything that makes us actually inform where we go next. I loved what Ginger was saying. She's got such a great hold on who she is as a person and who she serves. And to me, that's the epitome of what Larry Winget preaches, right? Which is find your uniqueness and exploit it in the service of others. And that's really, I think, the biggest vision that we can all try to do, which is find what makes us unique, find how we can take all of our trials and tribulations and be able to turn that to the next person to help them along the way within the message and the identity that we want to move forward and pursuing. But that it's going to change, it's going to constantly shift, because that's just life. And as entrepreneurs and intelligent women specifically, we might get bored or decide that we no longer want to be doing something, and allowing that to be okay as part of the process, that this is all experimental and we're going to be able to add lots of value, even if we're not doing the same thing in the next 5 years. So really looking at vision for me is all about how can I take my uniqueness, how can I take my skills and exploit those in the service of who I want to serve today.
So many great responses. If you are all watching, I'm going to say one thing and then I'll let you hop in, Carissa. If you guys are watching, I would love to hear what most resonated with all of you in terms of having this big vision and activating this big vision within yourself. What did you hear that you can now take back and apply to your journey? Carissa, go ahead.
One thing I want to add that has given me a lot of relief is going through my human design. So if you've never done your human design and you don't know what energy type you are, that for me was such a huge relief, because when I found out I was a manifesting generator, I was like, oh, that's what I do. I pivot. And that's, no one else needs to, try to catch up with me or stay in line with me. And that's okay. And so, yeah, just wanted to do a little shout out to human design. And it looks like other people are in there too with it. Yeah.
Several, it looks like. Yeah. So Christina said she is a manifesting generator. I am. Annie is. You are. And then both Danielle and Hillary said that they are projectors as well. So if anyone hasn't done it, there's like a super simple, you can look online. There's like a super simple thing to take. I think it's based on like your birthday and like some other things as well. Pretty interesting though. Yeah, Kuma, I think I have the link. I can send it to you. I have my whole thing. It's to try to learn though what everything means. It's a textbook that I swear to God is like this thick of trying to like figure out what an open and a closed and a this color and a that color and a bridge and a this. It's a lot. So, but I'll send you the link. All right. So some of the other thing, one thing I just want to coalesce quickly is that for a lot of the conversations that we've had, whether it was, the first question I asked, this last question I asked, so much of what a lot of you all have said is all about community, right? Like, and I think that there's a general sentiment, we're all nodding, that, we go on these entrepreneurial journeys alone, right? Like, I have a vision, I'm going to go build it, I'm going to go make it happen. And we try to go out and we try to embark and we try to do it all on our own. But I would guess that all of you agree with me in that entrepreneurship is absolutely impossible to do solo. Is that am I correct in my yes? Annie's got the duh face on. Yeah, absolutely. Stephanie's got a thumbs up. Yeah. So how have you guys all found like the right communities to be in? Because as we mentioned before, and Ginger said, like, we definitely have we have good and bad, wrong and right communities within our realms. So how do you go about finding the right people? Ginger, kick us off. You're the connector.
Wow. The simple version is when I feel energized with somebody else, by somebody else, when I feel there's a mutual exchange, then I am going in the right direction. And to the point of a few people today, like, this isn't permanent. Where we're at in this moment, you can't step in the same river twice, y'all. So step in it where you're at. And if I feel regenerated, then I'm going to pursue that, regardless if it's somebody sitting next to me on the plane and they know what they're getting into, or it's somebody I've known for a long time. And the converse is also true. When I realize that it's either an energy suck or that I'm never asked questions, Bri knows this, I am just ragingly curious. I ask a lot of questions. Life is amazing. Like, I got questions, y'all. So if that's not reciprocated, that's a big sign for me. They're not a bad person. They're not my person. And this does include family. I have gotten really clear that some of the closest people I grew up with do not support me anymore. And that's been quite an interesting wrinkle. I didn't grow up that way. I'm also reconciling it and standing in my own power and saying, okay, I've got amazing friends like Bri, who they're my 3 a.m.ers. They'd pick me up at 3 a.m. from the airport and I would do the same thing for them. So a lot of energy, a lot of feel, and a lot of action.
Love it. I'm going to throw mine in here quickly because it popped up while Ginger was speaking. One of the ways I trust community or trust, the right people to be coming into my community is through recommendations. Like, I firmly believe that great people know great people. So like Hillary happens to know 2 other people in Tulsa and she's connected me with them and I've gone out for coffee with both of them, right? Like, Katie introduced me to a ton of people through her summit, and I've gotten to partner and collaborate with them. Like Ginger, the amazing connector she is connecting me with all sorts of people. Kuma has made all sorts of great introductions for me. And so I just firmly have this like great people know great people belief. And so then my next step is to then connect great people. Like that's something that's really important to me, and something even about this conference. Like I'm excited to connect all the speakers. I'm excited to connect all of the attendees. I'm excited to connect the attendees with the speakers, because I know that like the vortex, I've been calling it a vortex, the vortex that we're all going to be creating together over the course of these 3 days is going to be immense. The right people are going to be attending either virtually or in the room. And we are all then going to make connections. And like Ginger said, connecting the world one person at a time. And so I love connecting. Like if I need something, I immediately go to the people that I know, love, and trust to ask them, because I know that they know someone that they know, love, and trust that probably is a resource for me as well. So Hillary, why don't you go next?
I love that. For me, I would say I'm learning that it starts with awareness within myself when I'm meeting somebody. I think that especially as ambitious entrepreneurs, we're always trying to get in rooms, we're always trying to network. And there can almost be this mentality that if I'm not running and making it happen, then it won't happen. I have to prove myself. So I've had to become very aware of my own energy when I'm around people within a room. How am I receiving them? Like what Ginger was saying. But even further than that, am I trying to impress them, and why? Am I putting forth a desperate energy? Is there something about them that's triggering within me? And why do I feel like I need their approval or that friendship? So what I found has been incredibly helpful is working on my own self-worth and looking within and trying to figure out to raise my vibration to the level that I want it to be at, to create the space to let go of the relationships that aren't serving me, that are being those energetic vampires, that aren't providing that value, that aren't leaving me lit up, so that I can have space for new to come in. And when I'm in operating from that place of high self-worth, it tends to be incredibly easy, and people just fall into place. And I think that that's one of the beautiful things is when you are operating from that great high vibration, you're able to know who your people are and the people that you should connect with, as well as allowing them to just be on that radio frequency. You don't even have to do all the work. So that's what I'm loving, especially with operating within human design and within that self-worth and that vibration, is that we don't have to constantly be working at it. We can allow the universe to conspire and dance with us.
Love it. Love it. Danielle, want to go next?
Yes. Love what you said, Hillary. And to go off of that, I think that for me, it's a lot of, for somebody who is very much getting in touch with my inner wealth, my internal landscape, doing all the healing, doing all of the work. For me, as what I like to call a professional fawner, for me, it's when I'm with people that I don't have to put a mask on. I don't have to sit there and fawn in order to be around them. And when you live your whole life like that, it's really easy to pick out who you don't have to do that with on one part. But I do want to lead off of that with, be open to it happening in mysterious ways. Sometimes you don't think things, or this random person that you meet, like this random individual who messages me about creating candles for her in her reuse jar, aka Bri Seeley, to lead into this beautiful relationship of years later being able to. She's one of the people that she reached out to me very randomly for an old business that I was doing. And who would have ever thought that it was somebody that I would connect with so deeply, not have to mask with the first time I met her, knew immediately that like this was going to be something different, and allow it to happen in mysterious ways. The same thing, one of my best friends right now, who's a big support for me in this entrepreneurial journey of where I'm at right now, I met her through a tapping course of just a random tapping partner that I have, and me and her are like inseparable now. So allow it to happen in very unpredictable ways. You never know where you'll find your people, and allow that.
I love that. And it is true. Danielle used to be my candle maker. I would bring her empty jars because I refuse to throw away candle jars. And I refused to buy new ones because it's so much waste. And I would bring her all of my empty jars, and she would refill all my empty jars for me in Manhattan. And then like I left New York with boxes and boxes and boxes and boxes of candles in our little rental car driving to Minnesota during the pandemic because Danielle had filled all of my candle jars for me. She's amazing like that. Although past business, speaking of visions, her vision is much bigger now. So, you
Yes.
know, we graduate from things and we move on.
We can
All right.
pivot.
We pivot. Annie, hit us with what you got.
So strategically, how you find your people, podcast and be on podcasts. If you've considered guesting, do it. You will not only meet your people, you will meet not your people, and not because they're mean to you, but just because you'll know that they're not really your people. But in the personal and business development spaces, especially women-centric ones, there's like kind of two groups. There's like, let's all pretend that entrepreneurship is easy 24 hours a day, people. And then there's like, let's all bitch and moan and talk about how destitute we are groups, right? And I've been in both and I've run both, to be honest. But what I notice is that like when we came today, how many of us expected to have a hard conversation? I didn't, but I wasn't surprised because my girl Bri goes hard. And how do I know this? She's interviewed me and I've interviewed her, right? So we knew that we would get along immediately when we met because of vibe and vibe. But when we interviewed each other, we co-created together twice, right? And you can tell a lot about someone by the questions they ask you. If they're asking you airy-fairy surface questions, they're probably going to be kind of an airy-fairy surface friend. If they're going to ask you a hard-hitting question with love, that's probably how they're going to coach you as your friend. Right? And vice versa on the receiving side, on the interviewing side. If I ask you a question about entrepreneurial struggle and you won't answer it, I'm sorry, we can't be friends. Because this shit is extremely hard. Every day, even the best days, there's still an element of it that's hard. And if you can't be honest with me, how can I trust you? Period. And how can I trust you when I'm being honest and authentic and real for you to keep it real? So interview your people, get interviewed by your people, keep it real on those interviews, and you won't have to worry about this anymore. Interviewing changed my life. And
I
not
love
for
that.
nothing, it brought me to Bri.
It's so true. This is how we met.
Mhm.
Little spoiler alert around that. We actually have a speaker who is talking about podcast guesting and how to put yourself out there as a podcast guest, because so day 2 of the conference is all about your resources. Like, what do you need to know and what do you need to learn in order to take this bigger vision that we just cultivated and bring it to life in the world. So this is the day that Katie's speaking. This is the day that Hillary is speaking. This is the day that Annie is speaking. Christina is the one.
We're all in the same day.
I know, right? It's gonna be a hot
Start
day.
consuming your caffeine and getting your
Hot
notebook
day.
hands ready, y'all.
Yep. So we have that day a podcast guesting person. We have someone coming in to talk about using storytelling to build a 7-figure business. There are so many great resources and knowledge points that are going to be present on that day as well. So I'm really excited about it. And last but not least, the final day is all about action. So I want to inspire everyone who's watching with an action and also give you all an opportunity. So clearly Success Becomes Me is happening in, I think it's 39 days. I was just on the website this morning. Pretty sure it's 39 days. No stress, total chill, 39 days, total chill. And want to invite everyone that is watching. I know 2 people watching already, actually 3 people watching already have their tickets, which is awesome. Want to encourage everyone watching to also get their tickets. So 2 things quickly. One, if you visit successbecomesme.com, that is where you can get tickets. And 2, if you type in the word preview, as you are checking out, you will get access to the early bird pricing. So you will get $50 off if you use the code preview. There are in-person tickets. You can come hang out with all of us, as Annie said, and get lots and lots and lots and lots of hugs. Or there's also a virtual component, and the virtual component is awesome because the platform looks exactly like you are sitting in an auditorium. It is not a Zoom layout like this. You will not look like you are on a Zoom call for 3 days. It will look as if you are in the room with us watching on stage. So get your tickets. There are gonna be vendors available, both in person and virtually. There will be virtual vendor booths. There is going to be all of us, obviously, in person hanging out. If you get VIP tickets, there is a VIP party that is happening as well. So want to encourage all of you to grab your tickets. The promo code is only available through Saturday. So you literally have 48 hours to use that promo code to get a discount on your ticket. So if you want access, get them now.
Bri, is that code only for us? Anybody watching today? Is that for anybody?
It's available for the next 48 hours. So if you know other people that are thinking about getting tickets and they are like on the fence, 48 hours, that code ends on Saturday. The VIP or the early bird prices ended last week. But I'm moonlighting quickly the early bird prices for those people that didn't have a chance to get them. So 48 hours. Last thoughts from anyone about, like, if someone has this big vision, they're really ready to move out there, they're really ready to have a lot to celebrate in their entrepreneurial journey. What is just one small action that we could all inspire them to take today? I feel like I should have gotten the Jeopardy theme song like on as well. Go for it, Carissa.
To not wait until you feel courageous enough, because the courage comes from the doing, and you'll gain courage once you actually do something that's scary. So step out and take that first step.
Love it. Oh, Danielle, go ahead. Sorry, I got distracted.
That's okay. Yeah, to go off of that, just do it. Like, don't wait until you're ready. You're never going to be ready. You're never not going to be scared. Just start going after it. Even if it's just one step in one day. It doesn't have to be massive, just one thing. Just try it.
Thank you. Hillary.
I'd say try to focus on what your uniqueness is. What are you uniquely here to do? You are most powerfully positioned to serve the person that you once were. What are the trials and tribulations that you've overcome in your life? How can you help people that are currently on the path, that are struggling with what you were struggling with 5 to 10 years ago? How can you leverage your current skill set to create the lifestyle that you want and serve the people that you want to serve at the same time? If you land on that uniqueness, you're going to go far.
Love it. Katie.
Cut yourself some slack. We hold ourselves to a sometimes impossible standard. Yes, I love
Those
that.
are
Ginger.
great
Cut
scissors.
yourself some slack, and you can do it. Rome wasn't built in a day. Cut yourself some slack. You're doing amazing things.
Awesome. Cool. Any last thoughts from anyone before we bounce?
Bri, do you want anything else on the speaker support this time, or we're going to do that another time?
Nope, we're going to do that another time.
Okay, very good.
Thank you so much. But also for all of the speakers, you guys have access to Ginger. It was in an email I sent a week-ish, 2 weeks ago. Time is not coalescing in my head. So you have an email. You're welcome to reach out to Ginger. She is an amazing support, an amazing resource. She and I met because we spoke on the same stage at the Wyoming Women's Expo, and I gravitated towards her, one, because of her hair, and two, because she wore a red ball gown on stage to speak about connecting and so Ginger is a force. She is a just amazing woman, and we're very lucky to have her with us. So yeah, awesome. Well, and the same can be said for all of you. For anyone, all the speakers, do you guys want to drop your best social link in the chat? And if anyone is interested, they can reach out to you. I will say that even with applications, all of my speakers were handpicked by me. this year. I very purposefully cultivated the experience of this conference from literally the moment you will walk in the door at the Cox Business Center or turn on your computer, to the moment you leave. The entire thing has been very purposefully designed and cultivated to have an experience to guide you through a very particular thing, from literally expanding your vision day one all the way through. The final speaker is going to be Madison Horn, who ran for US Senate in the state of Oklahoma, knowing she was going to lose. Can you imagine embarking on your vision knowing that you are going to fail and doing it with 110% gusto? Yeah, no, Hillary, I'm with you. No way. Absolutely no way. So we are going to be walking through. She won in other ways. I think her podcast episode is already up if anyone wants to listen to it. And so we're going to be walking through just like from vision all the way through resiliency, the day that I'm facing today, right? Like there is the highs, the lows, and everything in between, the resources, the people, the expansion, all of that. It is going to be an incredible 3 days. I will also say, if you already have your ticket, who do you know that also needs to be in this room? Please invite them. Get them in this room with us. It is going to be an absolutely incredible 3 days. So thank you so much to all of the speakers for being here, for contributing your time and energy today. This is amazing. I know I personally needed this today, and I'm sure other people watching did as well. Sending you all big hugs. Again, please come join us in person or virtually. So excited for this. This is going to be the first of many. My big vision is within the next 5 years that we sell out the BOK Center, which means that there are going to be 19,000 of us in one room, creating a massive fucking vortex of wealth and business for women. So I know, right? This is why I've been like, why do I have to have such a big vision today? Like this, I'm like, literally Lizzo is selling out the BOK Center. And here I come being like, yeah, we're just going to sell out the BOK Center in the next 5 years. Like what? Yeah. Some days I think that we as big visionaries verge on the like creative genius and also a little bit crazy. Like I feel like I'm just always like towing that line constantly. So all right, y'all. Thank you so much for joining me today. Big hugs to all of my speakers. Big hugs to everyone that is watching and watching the replay, because I messed up the automation. So we had 100 people registered today and 100 people did not show up because I messed it up, which is great. Yay.
Keep going. This is entrepreneurship.
Exactly. We're going to be sending the replay out. More people are going to be watching it. We're going to be uploading it places. So thank you all for joining me. Get your tickets. Come visit us at successbecomesme.com. Use the code preview for the next 48 hours, and we will see you all in Tulsa or online. Bye, everyone.